I retired in January of 2011, and I was ready to see the world playing golf and taking a lot of photographs, which is my hobby. Unfortunately, that dream was cut short in May of 2011 when I had a pain in my side and got a high temperature and was taken to the hospital because I had an infection in my kidney, and it turned into sepsis. I came out of the coma 2 weeks later. I went through 12 surgeries, and because of the infection, blood didn't get to my extremities. I was able to go through 9 months of rehabilitation and learning to walk on prosthetics, and got out in February of 2012. Then it came to golf, my favorite sport, and I found out I couldn't hit the ball out of my shadow, and I really needed some adaptive golf help. I looked, and I couldn't find it. Through a lot of research, I found that there were 20 million physically disabled who want to play golf but don't, for two reasons. One, they couldn't find adaptive golf help just like I. And second, when they went to a golf course, they were not accepted and sometimes turned away. And in February of 2013, I gave my first clinic to a young man in a wheelchair suffering from multiple sclerosis. He missed the golf ball a couple times, but when he hit it, it was the biggest smile you've ever seen in the individual's life. And I said, I'm on the right mission. It's amazing that golf is much greater than a game. It's got tremendous power of influencing and changing the lives of disabled. There was a young lady that couldn't hit a basketball with a hockey stick. And a few years later, she won a gold medal in the Special Olympics. A wounded veteran who lost his left leg in Iraq to an IED used golf to recover and rebuild his life. He's now number 6 in the world of ranked disabled players. And I've always said that anybody can play golf, no matter their disability. But I was really stumped the other day when I saw a mother and her son, both without arms. And I said, oh my God, how am I going to help them hit a golf ball? So we gave them a pair of shoes. On one shoe was a putter, the other was a wedge. And you know what? The young man sunk the ball with his putter shoe, and his mother was hitting the ball with the wedge shoe. And they didn't stop. Can you imagine the skill and the inner strength they have to try something different? That's the power of golf. One of the wonderful stories we have is we had a young man who was going blind, and he became depressed and nearly turned into an alcoholic. He found us, and we brought golf back to his life. We taught him how to hit a golf ball even though he was blind. On the first hole at Crystal Downs, a 30-mile-an-hour wind in his face, we lined him up, we talked to him, click right, click left, ready, ready. He hit the ball 200 yards down the middle. That's wonderful, but the most exciting part is that Justin has re-entered college. That's the power of golf. One of the things I learned when I came out of the hospital was that there are two constraints for disabled playing golf. One, when they went to a golf course, they were not always welcome and sometimes turned away. And the other is when they went to a golf course to play, it was not necessarily accessible because the owner of the golf course said they didn't want disabled slowing down the game. So one of our objectives has been to convert golf courses into being more welcome, being more accessible. And we evaluate golf courses as a 3-step process. 1, are they ADA compliant? 2, do they have access to special equipment? And then thirdly, do they have a range with an adaptive golf coach? And then we move beyond that. And we have decided that we're going to build an adaptive golf learning center, which has all the necessary components to improve the individual's game. And Dave Pelz is the #1 guru in the United States of short game. And I met Dave 3 years ago, and I asked him, will you help us build an adaptive golf learning center in Chicago? He said, that would be a great challenge. I would love to do it. And so he came up with a wonderful design that incorporated many different elements that are important to a golfer. He put together 4 putting greens at different angles. Then he had a wonderful sand trap, and he could get in there with a wheelchair and get out. You can stand in there with a prosthetic and hit the golf ball and get out. And then he had a chipping area, and he had 4 different distances, because he felt that the most important club in his game was a wedge. And so if you could be accurate with hitting a ball different distances, you're going to be a good player. And of course we had a big putting area as well. So it had all the elements. And our objective, we hope, is that when this is finalized, that the U.S. Paralympic Committee will say, yep, that's a training center for golf. We put together the Adaptive Golf Enhancement Program. It's a 6-step professional process where we start by teaching teachers how to deal with the disabled. They all know how to play golf, they all know how to teach golf, but you have to understand how to deal with an individual that may be suffering from autism or Down syndrome or a stroke. And that's one of the things that we really teach. And our coaches are very wonderful people that can deal with those disabilities. The other is enhancement. So we provide exercises that will provide stretching and extending their swing so they are able to hit the ball further. And then we take these wonderful people from the Shriners, Easter Seals, other organizations, and take them out to really professional tournaments. For instance, here in Chicago, we took the Shriners children to the BMW Championship. Guess what? They got to shake the hand of Tiger Woods. They got to see Jordan Spieth. They got to see other wonderful players. But at the same time, some of those wonderful disabled players were showing the kids who were in the stadium, look at how I hit the golf ball. Well, the most important thing when you're dealing with the disabled is to provide them an opportunity for the future, just not going out and hitting a golf ball and going home. But they should be able to see an opportunity before them to grow and be more proficient in the game, really get up to the higher level of competition. What we try to do is provide a competitive pathway for the disabled, which means get out of bed and get off to the clinic. And that's where they learn how to hit the golf ball, how to grip it, how to swing it. And then once they have the joy of hitting a golf ball, they're quite excited and they want to proceed on. So we get them onto the golf course where you learn rules and sense of etiquette. And so they learn those finer points in the game of golf. And then they have the opportunity to compete in 20 national tournaments that we have every year. And we've been very fortunate because we have grown from 5 organizations around the country to 38. And those 38 organizations today are providing competitive pathways for 39,000 disabled, of which 26% are wounded veterans. We offer competitive pathways for the disabled, and we try to level the playing field for them so that they all can compete equally. And we've established a United States competition and ranking system so that all of our players in the United States can be ranked on an equal basis depending on their ability and their performance. And on a national basis, we will set the protocol much in line with the International Paralympic Committee. And that's because they have set standards for classifications of disabled. And we are able to classify our players according to those standards. And then we will set tees depending on the classification, so they all have an equal chance to do well. And we also have on our competition a championship round where the best players, no matter what their disability is, are playing from the blue tees, and they're competing on a low gross basis. And all the others who are playing at different tees will be playing to win their particular classification. So everybody, in some respects, are competing with their own group, And then the champions are competing with their own group. And so we have trophies for each of those groups. And of course, the champion of champions is quite a player. And we're doing that for a particular purpose, not only to put everybody on a level playing field, but we are able to select from that ranking system the best players in the United States. Because it's our goal to have the International Paralympic Committee recognize golf as a sport. We've been working hard on this, and we hope that it's going to change quickly. And so if it does, then we will have our team ready. And can you imagine 57 million disabled in this country watching the first U.S. para golf team win gold medals in the Paralympic Games? The mission of the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance is quite simple. One word: inclusion. We're including the disabled in the fabric of society through the game of golf. USAGA is comprised of 38 adaptive golf member organizations around the country, serving over 40,000 disabled annually, of which 26% are wounded veterans. And one of our objectives, of course, is to build more adaptive golf organizations around the country. But every day we get people who hear about us and say, what can we do? So heartwarming to see the thrill that a disabled person can get out of hitting a golf ball. It's just terrific. I never knew it. Because when I played golf, I played competitively. I only worked about getting the golf ball in the hole, how well I could hit the ball. These people are not only doing that, but they're enjoying the game, and they're learning so much, and they're becoming so much better because of the therapeutic and rehabilitative benefits of the game. I never knew golf had such power. With 38 organizations around the country, we are getting to be quite well known, but we still make an effort to increase our brand awareness. And so we will hold a booth or have a booth down at the PGA show, and we've done that for 3 years. That's where 40,000 people come by our booth and see us hit golf balls and learn more about what we're doing to include the disabled in the game of golf. And because of that effort at the PGA show, we were awarded a People Development Award. And this is quite an honor for us, because that means that we're being successful and that we are including and developing more people. From there, they have recognized us as a partner, and they are putting their arms around us and endorsing us and our tournament. So this is really a fabulous crack in the door for us, because now we can continue to work with the USGA to grow the inclusion for more of the disabled. Before I became disabled, I was the CEO of several organizations with Rockefeller and with General Motors and my own company. And looking back at what my needs were, the CEO of having wonderful people working for me, I have learned today that this is a source of wonderful people that should be included in the workforce. They have overcome their own personal setbacks. They've faced their own challenges in this great game of golf. And I think anybody that has been able to achieve that would be somebody I would like to hire. Please understand that we're using the power of golf to change lives. We're using the therapeutic and rehabilitative benefits of the game, the joy, the sense of freedom to change lives. These are special people. They don't say, why me? They don't say I can't, but rather they say I can. These people have incredible inner power and inner strength to get out of bed every day and go out and face the world and take on the challenge of golf. We've been doing this for 8 years, and we've been doing it successfully because of donors and because of their support and their care and their interest for including the disabled. And they've seen what we've been doing and what we've accomplished. And so I hope you too can see what we can do, and you can see where your money goes. Your financial support will open the doors for the disabled, for their inclusion, not only in the game of golf, but in the fabric of our society.